Before the video starts, I want to announce that I've officially created a Discord server called BlazeCord. BlazeCord will be the best way to converse with me for whenever I'm online. The BlazeCord will primarily be centered around anime fighting games, but really it's a chill platform where you can talk about just about anything really. It's also a good way to stay up to date of when I make lobbies and when I begin to start streaming, which will start around the time when the next DLC update for CrtlAltDelete drops. It's also a much better way to ask me questions and perhaps give me suggestions as well. It is my very first Discord server, so there may be a few hiccups here and there, but I can guarantee that this server will be extremely fun. With that said, I hope I see you guys there, and please enjoy the rest of the video. Okay. I've been meaning to do this video for a long time because this is something I pretty much realized once the update got announced, and finding out the DLC release is not up until May, which is so fucking stupid. But anyways, now that this game has been out for almost a year now, I want to finally give my real final thoughts on this game. There comes to a point where I just want to just basically say what I have to say and leave it be. Now that this game has been out for so many months now, I can finally say how I feel about this game. To be blunt and to be straight up to the point and honest, at best, this game is enjoyable, but at worst, this is probably the biggest stain in BlazBlue's franchise history. I'm dead serious. And I never thought I would be saying that. And I know some people are going to say, well, it's not really a BlazBlue game and have all these crossovers. BlazBlue is in the title. BlazBlue is front and center of this game. This game is a BlazBlue game, whether you want to admit it or not. It's still a BlazBlue game. So please don't come at me saying that this game is not a BlazBlue game per se. Yes, there are significant differences compared to the mainline series, but this game is still considered part of the entire franchise of BlazBlue. So I'm sorry, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. It's still at its core a BlazBlue game. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, I'm going to get into how I feel about this game from a business standpoint as of right now, and from a gameplay standpoint as of right now as well. We're going to start with the business one first. All the practices behind this game alone makes me question not just the longevity of BlazBlue, but just the actions behind Arc System Works, because growing up with this series of BlazBlue, I have never felt so adamant about a game before, you know what I mean? Like, when they first announced the game, it was all fine and dandy, of course, up until the point where we found out that we were getting 20 DLC characters right off the bat, and the game has not even released at that point. That was a spit on our faces. And you could say that this is not the first fighter to do that, and you're right, it isn't. But the way they handled the DLC scheduling is probably one of the worst ways I've ever seen a company use a DLC schedule to pretty much liven up the game. I pretty much already expressed how I felt about CrtlAltDelete having a drought. Basically, last year around Evo time was the last time we finally got our last DLC update for this game as of right now. And then we go into October, November, December, practically the whole third and fourth quarter of the year with no updates at all. We've been waiting for the Fifth Fate announcement for so long, and finally we did get it around like February or March, you know, all fine and dandy, until we find out that this will not be coming to consoles until fucking May. Until fucking May. Damn near the end of spring. To be honest with you, when I found out that news, I had a feeling that I never had with a BlazBlue game before, or in general with a lot of other fighting games. I honestly was like saying to myself, oh, well, that's disappointing, but oh well, I got other games to play. The fact that I felt that way, that feeling, made me actually, in a way, kind of disappointed and sad to see how this franchise have come. I'm not saying that CrtlAltDelete is like a terrible game, like, but when it comes specifically a business standpoint and the marketing behind the game and whatnot, it was pretty bad. I never seen this kind of marketing being so bad with a fighting game for a long time. Like probably since like vanilla Marvel 3 or even Street Fighter Cross Saga. It just makes me really worried for the future of BlazBlue. I feel like Coefficient brought up a great point that with the practices they have been doing, it kind of feels as if Archers and Worst don't really give a shit about BlazBlue Cross Sag. But because you have to understand that yes, they're doing a lot of projects like you know, they have to do DLC characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and they're developing, I believe, Grand Blue Versus, so that's another thing. But you have to understand also that the red team is basically in charge of the Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and assumingly Grand Blue Versus since it has the Edzard aesthetics. The blue team, however, pretty much just handles BlazBlue entirely. That's why it's hard for me to excuse them. It's really impossible to defend them at this point anymore, honestly. It really is. And we also found out that the Sixth Fate will be coming, and with the previous practices in mind, I kind of believe that we won't be getting that anytime soon, definitely. Holy shit. So we better relish in this update once it comes out in May. So it sucks, man. It really does. But anyways, I pretty much expressed how I feel about the practices behind this game. Just very lazy. It just feels as if Archers and Worst kind of just don't really care about Cross Sag and they're ready to move on. For any fighting game fan or any fan of a series, when it feels as if that the creators or the ones developing it don't really care as much, it hurts, man. Because it's kind of saying, well, why should I care too? You know what I mean? But anyways, that's how I feel about the practices and the business behind this game. It's really shit. Just honestly shit. There's no excusing it. I'm now just going to go into the gameplay portion. The gameplay is such a mixed bag for me. Like, there are some things I like about it, genuinely like, but there's a lot of things about the gameplay where I'm just like, why did they make this decision? Just why would they make grabs have the character to run a set distance? I hate that. That irks me so much. Oh my god. I do understand that this game is meant to be more casual based. That's fine. A lot of fighting games are doing this. It's something that hardcore fighting game enthusiasts have to pretty much come to understand, that in this generation, fighting games are really niche, and developers and companies are trying their hardest to appease the casual audience to make more bank in order to stay afloat in their business. Makes sense. However, there's no excusing the gripes I have with this game from the gameplay standpoint. For one, like I said before, I hate the fact that when you try to grab someone, it's a set distance that a character runs in. And it really irritates me because there are a lot of scenarios where I'm trying to bait out a DP. In other miscellaneous fighting games, I purposely try to make sure I'm out the grab range. But in this game, it feels as if that they can grab me from any distance when I'm trying to like bait out a DP or wake up or something. And to be honest, it's probably a nitpick of mine, but this is something that I have never really seen in any other fighting games having a problem with that. But in this game alone, grabs just feel so awkward, honestly. Another gameplay mechanic I have an issue with is push blocking. Being honest, I was never really a fan of push blocking, but I do understand that a lot of versus games have it. And I do respect the fact that they're trying to incorporate more defensive options, because not everyone's a rush down heavy type of player. I do understand that, but I feel like push blocking really gives zoners much more of an advantage, honestly. I really feel like push blocking should be nerfed. It should be nerfed to like maybe a shorter distance. And I do know there are ways to go around it. You know, that's why you have assists in this game. I do understand that. But those who really know how to push block and really just abuse the fuck out of it just so they can create space more easier and continue their zoning, it can get really obnoxious. In this game, honestly, for me, it feels as if there's no neutral, or there's no really good flow of neutral. It's always something happening. Draw an assist, draw out a random assist and hope it works, and then you go for a confirm and shit like that. Maybe ultimately, I just can't really vibe with that shit. I really feel like push blocking interrupts the flow of this game, personally, for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's how I feel. Now that we're talking about the flow of the game, I really feel like matches can end very quickly. And I'm sure I will admit that more higher skill cap players will definitely make the matches more longer, but let's be real, if you guess like 4 times or 5 times correctly, a match can end within like maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and that's really short. I don't believe that this game should have rounds because it's a tag team game. Definitely not rounds. That much I can understand, but maybe they can either like nerf the damage output or just buff the health entirely for every single character in this game. It feels as if once I'm having fun, like I'm really having fun, I get my really good combo conversion, I can't really finish it because the character's fucking dead. And it's like, oh, this game as a whole for me, when it comes to neutral and flow and how the game is, it just feels as if it rewards brain dead play in a way. You just draw out your move with a good ass hitbox, pray it works, and if it works, you do your cross bursts and shit like that. I just can't really vibe with that, I guess. There are a few things I like about the gameplay, but for the most part, the gameplay for me is simply not the best I've played in a fighting game. That's kind of the reason why I have not really been playing this game as much. To be quite honest, I only been playing this game recently for the last 2 weeks, because before those 2 weeks, man, I have not really been playing this game, man. Just being real honest. I have been playing Eunice, I have been playing Smash Bros, and even sometimes I play Central Fiction over cross tag. I mean, there's no secret that I prefer Central Fiction over cross tag. I'm not trying to sound like an elitist and anything, but I'm just trying to be honest here. I enjoy that game much more than cross tag. I feel like Central Fiction is just an overall much more polished game. Even when it comes to the presentation standpoint, it's a much polished game. I'm definitely going to play the game a lot more once Steph drops, no doubt, but I can't guarantee that I'll be playing this game a lot, like for months and years to come. I just only hope that Arc System Works use this game as a way to learn from their mistakes. If they are assumingly continuing with the BlazBlue franchise, I would hate for this game to be the last in the franchise, because it's like a sour taste at the end. It's one of those games where I really wanted to love it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't be biased. With that said, that's how I feel about this game entirely. How do you feel about cross tag? Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this game, or come to Discord, come to the Discord and let me know how you feel about it. But I'm still going to have lobbies for this game, definitely, and obviously once the update comes, I'm definitely going to be fucking with this game heavy. But like as I said, I can't expect myself to be playing this game for months and years to come. I'm going to end this video. I rambled on enough. It's time for me to end this video. I just wanted my opinions to be heard finally on this game now that this game has been out for almost a year. So I thought it was the best opportune time to finally just lay it out. I'll catch you guys later as usual. Take care. Peace out. Have a good day.